Good morning, guys. We're going to start with chapter 13. Okay for a boy. Turns out my passenger is pretty funny when she wants to be. We're bumping along, going maybe 10 miles an hour, and suddenly she shades her eyes with her hand and goes, "Slow down, I see the golden arches, Big Macs, dead ahead." For one tiny millisecond, I almost fall for it. "Gotcha," she grins at me. "No way." "Way, you totally believe me." "You're good, I admit. Good enough for ice cream. I've been saving the last pint of chocolate chip in the cooler in the back." Her eyes dart to the back, and I bust out laughing. She slumps in her seat. Great, I got away from fatness camp, but I can't get away from imaginary food. Fatness camp? They call it fitness because it sounds better, but at least half the girls there are there to lose weight. Can I ask you a question? Why were you out in the woods the other night? No comment, and she won't say any more on the subject. But here's the thing. After making each other laugh, we're no longer strangers. We're not a team yet, me and Delphi Pappas, but we're getting there. Late in the day, with the light fading through the green leaves and the smell of smoke ever more distant, we come upon a faded hand-painted sign nailed to a tree. Piney Pond Cottage. Walk from here. Delphi said, if somebody's home, maybe they've got a phone. I really, really, really want to talk to my mom. Vehicle. But Delphi leverages herself out of the seat, grabs the stick she's using for a crutch, and hobbles past the sign. I'm nervous about leaving the Jeep alone. It saved my life, and my guts tell me to stick with it until we're clear of the forest, clear of the fire. I can't outrun a fire, and for sure Delphi can't. But I need a phone as much as she does, to make sure my mom is okay and to get us rescued. So I carefully park the Jeep in a cleared space near the sign. This must be where the owners leave their car or truck, and follow her down the footpath. The path looks like it hasn't been used lately. The undergrowth is so thick with ferns that it's like a wall of soft green waves on either side. Delphi is limping along so fast I can hardly keep up, and I worry she'll trip and make her ankle worse. Wait up, take it easy. But she's real determined, crashing through the ferns and slashing her stick to clear the path. And then suddenly, we're in the clear. A meadow slopes down to a white cottage on the edge of a small pond. There's a small rickety dock and no boat, and the shutters on the cottage windows are closed. Nobody home is my guess, but Delphi is determined to find out for sure. A screened-in porch wraps around two sides of the cottage, and she's up the steps and into the porch before I get there. Darting around the old wicker furniture and peering through the glass on the front door into a dim interior. She rattles the doorknob. Locked. I don't think anyone's here, I say. There'd be a car or a truck in that spot, right? Sounding irritated, she turns toward me. Okay, Sherlock, I get that. Nobody's home, duh. But what if there's a phone charger in there or a landline? I take a step back. She's taller than me and holding a big stick. She notices my reaction and her face falls. Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I'm just like hot and miserable and obsessed about calling my parents, okay? Delphi, I'm pretty sure there aren't any chargers in there. How do you know that? Look around. There are no power lines attached to the house. No telephone lines. No lines of any kind. She hobbles down the steps, looks at the roof line of the porch in the cottage. Her shoulders slump. This is so messed up. There are a lot of places like this in the backwoods, hunting cabins and getaway cottages that are too remote for power. That's stupid. I shrug, not sure about that. It's sort of like camping out except with a real roof over your head. Summer only, I'm guessing. Unless they come by snowmobile. That lumber camp, it didn't have power either. I hate this, Delphi says, frustrated. Hate it. No, this is good, I insist. This is a great find, even without a phone. We're far enough ahead of the fire that we can hardly smell it. And besides, we don't dare drive a logging trail after dark. Too easy to get off the road. So we need a place to stay for the night. The porch is good. The bugs won't be able to chomp on us. Plus we have chairs and couches and cushions. See? It's way better than sleeping in the Jeep. I'll go back for some food and we'll have a nice supper right here on the porch. How about that? Delphi wipes her glistening face with the back of her hand. You're okay for a boy, you know that. Chapter 14, Land of 1,000 Dances. On my way back to the Jeep, I remember something Dad once did with a snowmobile to make sure it didn't get stolen. He pulled the main spark plug wire and took it with him. No spark, no steal, he said with a smile. Doubtful there's anyone around to steal the Jeep, but I can't risk it, not with our lives at stake. I lift the hood and follow his example. Thanks, Dad. When I return with the canned goods for supper, Delphi is perched on the old porch rocker looking very pleased with herself. The cottage door is open. You broke in? Nope, she holds up a key, found it under the mat. The sun is already low in the sky, and the shuttered windows make the inside of the cottage dim. What's in there? Delphi shrugs. I was waiting for you. I ease down into a chair. We're probably breaking the law just being here, trespassing, right? Said the boy who stole the Jeep. Borrowed, I responded quickly. Whatever, that's what they call a special circumstance. We're two kids lost in the woods running from a forest fire, okay? I don't think they'll send us to prison for seeing if there's anything inside that can help us survive. That makes sense, but it still feels wrong. The pond, the empty deck, the comfortable old porch furniture, it all looks private, like we're intruding on a family. But Delphi is right. What if there is a phone in there, or food and water like at the logging camp? Okay, let's take a look. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust to the deep shadows inside the cabin. Our footsteps echo in a way that makes me think the place is hollow somehow. Then I realize not hollow, but empty. It even smells empty. There's nothing inside but hot, stale air and an old broom leaning against a bare wall. No furniture, no pictures on the walls, no wood for the stone fireplace. The cupboard doors are open and the shelves are bare. No food, water, or supplies, no candles, lanterns, or flashlights, nothing. Whoever they were, the owners, they're gone. Delphi sighs. Gone for a long time, years probably. Look at the dust. Sorry. It's not your fault. She's being polite, but sounds heartbroken. Delphi pulls open a kitchen drawer looking for silverware. At first glance, it seems to be as empty as the cupboards until she reaches to the very back, and then her eyes get bigger. I've got something, she exclaims. A phone! It's a phone! But her excitement doesn't last long. The object from the drawer is about the same size and shape as an old flip phone, but it's not. It's a small self-powered emergency radio with a crank on the side. Turn the crank fast for a couple of minutes, and the radio will play for a little while. I take it from her and check it out. This is really cool, Delphi. My dad had one of these. He used it for the weather reports when we were hiking. So we get warnings of thunderstorms or flash floods like that. With the hand crank, you don't have to worry about batteries. Maybe we can find out where the fire is headed. Delphi isn't listening. She hobbles out to the porch, keeping her back turned. I know better than to say anything. Plenty of times I've wanted to cry myself, from frustration and fear and not knowing what happens next. Out here in the blazing heat, running from the fire, all you have to do is take the wrong turn, make a bad decision, and you turn into a crispy critter. No second chances once the flames catch up. I can't imagine a worse way to die, but I keep thinking about it, even though I'm pretty sure we're way ahead of the fire. Anyhow, if Delphi wants to shed a few tears, I'm not going to say a word about it. No way. I go to the opposite end of the porch and fiddle with the radio, turning the hand crank as fast as I can. After 30 cranks, I switch it on. Static. I rotate the dial. More static. Behind me, Delphi goes, try pulling out the antenna. Extending the antenna seems to help, but mostly the static is just louder. I give the thing a few more cranks, then fiddle with the dial again, and this time a faint but familiar voice weaves through the static. I turn slowly, aiming the antenna up until the voice sharpens. The voice that did our wake-up call, followed by golden oldies. Fat Freddie Bell. Usually he's joking around, but not this time. This time he's dead serious. Reporting that more than 15,000 acres of dry timberland have been engulfed by wind-driven flames in the last 48 hours. In some areas, a wall of flame has spread a mile in less than an hour, leaving nothing but smoldering ash behind. Firefighters are working hard, but they haven't been able to stop it. What started this fire is as yet undetermined. Could be a careless camper, or what they call dry lightning. But whatever started it, officials fear this may be worse than the Great Fire of 1947 that burned from the mountains to the sea, destroying town after town. Unless we get some rain, Boy, do we need rain. So we're praying for rain. We're dancing for rain. That's right, your host, Fat Freddy Bell, is dancing right now in the RPZ studio, making a fool of himself. Come on, let's all get up and dance. Old and young, everybody, dance until it rains. The voice blends into music, wild rocking music about the land of 1,000 dances, but it quickly fades to static. Delphi tucks the radio into her backpack, then looks at me with worried eyes. We're in bad trouble.